MMC, good afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon, I'm the provincial chairperson of the EFF in Gauteng and also the MMC of finance in the city of Ekurhuleni.
How did the Imbiza go?
No, it went well. Every opportunity that we get to interact with the people of Ekurhuleni as we lead departments on their behalf is always welcomed. We have had numerous interactions with them, but today was more often giving feedback in terms of the commitments that we would have made, not only in the State of the City address, but also in the budget speech that is to follow on the 22nd of May.
They were bold commitment. Will the city meet the obligations?
Definitely, there is no commitments that I would make personally and through the organization that I lead, wearing red and not commit ourselves to. This is outside of politics and politics. What we speak is exactly what we seek to achieve.
As a budget, do you think the budget will allow to deliver on all aspects?
We have tabled a 60 billion rand draft budget. Obviously, the authority of the budget lies mainly in the collection rate of above 90% and the selling such as water, electricity and sewage, as well as the conditional grants. If the spheres of government, particularly province and national, don't play into the gallery of politics by limiting our resources that they would have gazetted, particularly due to conditional grants, then we are projecting that indeed the commitments that we would have made would be able to.
Did you foresee the city solving the billing issues? Not just you've observed, your focus also under your administration as MMC of finance from the previous administration as well, on ensuring that businesses, not just consumers, but businesses also pay. We spoke to the mayor, he said no, he's quite happy, businesses, all businesses.
Yeah.
And what's your take? Business equally, are you giving the equal attention you give to citizens to business?
Definitely. Out of the potentially 1.8 billion that is owed by this particular area in terms of historic debt, about 500 million of that lies in your particularly Ward 1 area, affluent area, which is midstream, which is a highly suburban area that is well developed, of people that can pay, but are just choosing not to pay. So we obviously have to enforce that. So outside of just the enforcement of business activities and business entities, are also affluent areas where they have the means to pay but are not, and actually giving relief as well to particularly Central Tembisa citizens who are paying, even though they're finding it extremely difficult because they are obviously on interims and so forth. But the issue of meters and the issue of meter reading in itself in reference to interims is not a crisis in the city of Ekurhuleni, as hence even the Auditor General would not identify it as a crisis as opposed to other municipalities. Yes, it is a challenge in certain areas because we either want the maximum development in the city of Ekurhuleni, whereas we have not allocated enough resources to ensuring that we do have water and electricity meters in all the areas that are developed, but also the ones that have broken down, you find that we have actually previously under budgeted in terms of the maintenance of the systems that are currently in place. But we have allocated enough resources, not only from a maintenance perspective of meters, but also much enough resources to correct the historic nature of areas that are developed but did not have meters.
Last question. You're also the provincial EFF. I want to ask about politics a bit. It was almost. Do you believe that the ANC is using this to campaign?
Well, look, it's election season, and what we have known for a while now is that the ANC does not have an appetite, neither the financial resources and muscles, neither the infrastructure to have any political program outside of government. They are always extremely reliant on government programs which border on the lines of politics to actually advance themselves in society.
Is this
EFF
one
is
of it?
made-
Is this one of it?
They tried. I mean, the mayor and the premier were speaking to members of the ANC and not members particularly of the community as first hand, you know. And those who were members of community were not thoroughly receptive to what they were saying and singing about charismatic leaders who say all sorts of things just to garner votes.
I saw many empty chairs here. What could be the problem?
Well, you see empty chairs all the time, you know, more especially when the EFF is not at the center of the mobilization there. So it shouldn't be something that you would be surprised to see. They've had regurgitated stories about all sorts of things and all manner of promises, 10,000 jobs, 50,000 jobs, something that they could not deliver within the past 30 years of government. And society is extremely aware that there's nothing new that they can say, but they're just trying to create a euphoria for something new.
Is this the future of coalition government? I mean, I saw unpleasant scenarios. Your team speaks, there's a Boeing on the other side, they speak. Is it the future of possible government post-elections provincially?
No, look, we appreciate the fact that members of society and citizens always have a different voice when it comes to political choices, and this is just one of those things, you know. And at the highest accolades of political choices are political leaders. We are contesting the same space. We are contesting to be government, by the way, because even the current premier is an outgoing premier. You know,
did you have to insist today to be part of the program, or you equally invited? Did you have to say, as long as we are in government, we have to be there in Mbizo?
No, it's a mayoral Mbizo, and we are part of the mayoral committee. So the expectation is that we should be here, we should be addressing our people.
But
when
MMC,
I came in, I said,
is the politics playing at play here? Because potentially, if there were no politics, probably the stadium will have been full. There'll be more people.
We should question.
Could it be that
we can question the integrity of those who are tasked with the mobilization of community meetings, particularly from the mayor's office, because this is a mayoral Mbizo. You know, that's what we can question, because when we engage in a process of a mayoral Mbizo, the expectation is that the government structures are there, put in place to invite relevant stakeholders, and any expression that does not find itself in terms of the invitation, one can attribute that to the...
You speak of the premier's outgoing. Are you confident? Are you that sure?
Definitely.
What are the numbers?
Definitely, we've done extensive work in terms of door-to-door. We've had numerous programs across the entire province. I mean, the Commander-in-Chief, Julius Malema, has been in every corner of Gauteng. We've spoken to many sectors of society, engaged people that ordinarily would not have engaged, or people that the rest of society and media would have said that they would not lend us our ears. You know, we went to El Dorado, the biggest community meeting that we've had thus far in what people would call a minority constituency, would have been in Rakapa. You know, so the reception has been great towards the EFF. We see polls; they mean absolutely nothing to us. They're insignificant because they are not in touch in terms of the commitments that our people have made to us. There's no particular area that we've went to, by the way, where we have seen a rejection of the EFF. We have been well received, and we are confident that indeed
I'm sure this would have been full.
No, look, if you gave us the responsibility, it doesn't have to be Winnie Mandela, by the way, in any corner of the city of Ekurhuleni, in any corner of Gauteng, if you were to take us and you task us with the responsibility of mobilization, would have done a sterling job.
But are you not going to end up having more of commitment made because of elections? You're the finance minister in the municipality.
Yeah.
That you've got this big commitment. I'm worried personally, but I don't know. Are you worried?
On which commitment?
That all these Mbizos, perhaps to organize one more, and you go on area, make commitment that requires financial
that have financial implications. Yes. Every decision that a department takes has financial implications. Whether it's not seen because it requires human resource, it's still a financial implication. We came here earlier on today. We were doing a lot of cleaning along the area, internally as the city of Ekurhuleni. Yes, we have the plastics, yes, we have the gloves, which had a financial implication, but we also had the staff members whom we had disposed of to come and do the work today on the basis of human resource, and that has financial implications. But ours is to obviously go back and have a thorough discussion in terms of how then do we best juggle the numbers to ensure that whatever view has been expressed by society finds expression. The IDP process, every single ward, by the way, has 3 priorities, and there are some priorities that are unreachable even for the departments to achieve. And what do? We at least make sure that there's one priority that is identified and that is budgeted for, because that's the least that we can do. So it all borders on how we move the numbers around.
Thank you, MC.
Thank you.
Thank you.